Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Soaps and Sass.
General Hospital Edition. I had to pause. I was going to say Beyond the Gates.
Ooh, don't mix them up.
No.
And when you say you have to pause, you pause the podcast?
No, as in I had to pause.
Pause your thoughts.
Right. Right. I'm like, maybe I'm not as awake as I thought I was. I don't know.
Oh, okay, because I was just about to ask, how are you doing today?
I don't know. It's a mix of like tired, hot, just...
Well, we'll see how it goes as the podcast goes on. As I already said, this is Soaps and Sass, where we talk about some of our favorite soaps.
Yep.
Well, maybe one of our favorite soaps, because we only have one favorite.
We only have one favorite, and then secondary, which we're currently watching for certain plot lines.
Right.
Rather than the whole show as a whole.
Exactly. So for anybody just tuning in, our favorite soap is General Hospital. The other soap that we're watching and supporting because it's part of our community is Beyond the Gates, which you will find information in a second podcast that drops about the same time.
Yep.
I am... who am I? Who am I? Sorry, let me stop singing. I am Mama Sass.
Yes, and I'm Baby Sass, because I was about to say, if you're saying you're Baby Sass, I don't know whose Baby Sass you are.
Well, it's really nice to have you with us this week. So why don't we focus, jump right into the recap for the week of June 2nd to 6th. This is episode 22 for our podcast. Anything before we jump into the recap?
No.
Okay, why don't we do it?
All right.
This week, we had our adoption storyline. So what is happening here? Last week, Brooklyn and Dante and all the Quartermaines found out that Gio Palmieri, who has been living at the Quartermaine house for all this time, is actually Brooklyn and Dante's son. They had him when Brooklyn was a teenager. Dante never knew about his existence. So this week is all about the fallout, or at least the early days of the week, in any case. Gio goes to Sonny, who turns out to be his grandfather. He had thought was his uncle. Certainly his benefactor throughout his life, had paid for him to go to music school. So Gio's asking Sonny some advice and some questions. What did Sonny know? When did he know it? What difference does it make now that they're grandfather and grandson? What's the relationship going to be like with Gio's father? Because a few weeks before, Gio and Dante had quite the row. Well, more Dante than Gio.
Right.
Gio kind of played punching bag in that scenario, because the son that Dante did know about, Rocco, had gotten alcohol poisoning, and Gio didn't know enough to know that it was alcohol poisoning. He just saw his friend was drunk. Let me make sure he gets home safely to sleep it off. And Dante just wrote, and erased him. It was horrible.
And because of this, Gio doesn't want a relationship with Dante.
Exactly. The
Which
man
I
didn't
think is
like
fair.
me before. I agree. Man didn't like me before. He ain't gonna like me now. I don't need to know him.
Right? It's like, just because we find out we are father and son doesn't change anything.
Right? So Rocco, the friend, who now turns out to be his younger half-brother, also finds out, because it's streaming online, because when Gio found out, he had quite the reaction at the nurses' ball. That streamed online. Rocco saw the streaming, and I guess his friends sent it to him as well. And he wants confirmation. Is Gio really my brother? Yes, Dante confirms, as does Lulu, who's been told to stay out of the entire situation since this is all of her making.
Right. Rocco is a bit upset at Brooklyn, but really...
Yes, absolutely. And Dante's trying to explain, listen, she was a teenager. Teenagers do what teenagers do, best that they can. And maybe he's now starting to see the parallels between Gio's choices and Brooklyn's choices, and understanding what all goes into that. Mm-hmm. So Rocco, I think, because he didn't really say, I think he's interested in developing a relationship with his brother, but he's quite furious with Brooklyn because they were all living in the same house at one point.
Yeah.
But again, Brooklyn had no idea that was her son.
Right. So I'm like, if there's an interaction between Brooklyn and Rocco, I'm interested to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think
there would be.
I think there will be. I also think while Rocco is upset, he will be a lot more open and understanding.
He's a fairly level-headed young man.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, I think he'll be more understanding than Gio is. Granted, I'm like, Rocco isn't really the person of subject right now, but still it's like, I had an older half brother out there and I didn't know about it. So he does technically have a right to be upset.
Absolutely.
But I think, again, he'll be more understanding about this whole situation once he talks to Brooklyn.
I think so. Brooklyn confronts her mother, Lois, and Gloria, her grandmother, because Gloria shows up in town. It is quite the conversation. It's just a lot of back and forth. Like, why did you think this was the right thing to do? Even when Camilla died, you said nothing. They go back and forth. Gloria is very much of don't disrespect your mother. Brooklyn's like, you can talk all you want about respect, but what about respect for me and letting me know about something that was so important to my life? Because the agreement was you were going to give him to a different family. We would have no idea. You seem to miss the part where we would have no idea.
Yeah, it's like we would agree we'd all be in the dark. And so far in this entire situation, I'm the only one who's in the dark.
Exactly. And I believe Gio comes into the middle of the conversation.
He does.
Where Brooklyn is asking about, well, after Camilla died, why didn't you say something? I don't think I can't remember where exactly.
I feel like a little bit before that. Just slightly before. But.
Right? But he overhears that part, or he's part of that conversation.
He's definitely part of that conversation.
Brooklyn is outraged, and she says, you pressured a dying woman to keep the secret? And I think that's where Gio came in, to be honest.
No. Like I said, he came in before that, but that came out because it's like, but when Camilla was dying, you like, why didn't you say anything then, or whatever, whatever. And she's like, it was Camilla's choice, and that's when it all just went to hell. It was already bad, but the second they said it was Camilla's choice, it's like we talked to Camilla and yada yada. That's when it all went to hell.
Right. And so Gio really doesn't want to have anything to do with Lois. I don't think he really wanted to have anything to do with Gloria. He's like pretty much done with them. I think he's a little bit on the fence because really I think what changed him, Brooklyn just lost her temper. She cannot look at her mother and grandmother anymore. And she was like, get out. Lois says, I'm going to go pack my bags. And she's like, no. You don't step another foot any further into this house. I will have the thing sent to you. You can hit the door, which is right behind you. And I think that swayed Gio the tiniest bit, but he is also packing up his things to leave. He's not going to stay at the Quartermain home. Yeah,
but he does tell Brooklyn, it's like, you didn't want me and I don't want you, basically. I think we'll get into discussion after.
Yeah, I think he's coming around. The other big storyline...
Well, quickly, then Brooklyn goes over to Lulu's and names her the riot act.
Oh, good Lord. How could I forget that? But I may be planning that for later. But yes, Brooklyn shows up at Lulu's door, banging on her door like she's the police. Lulu opens the door.
After what she did, I would be banging on her door like the police too.
How you mean? And they have it out. And it's interesting because doesn't argue back in the way that she has been doing, because she seems to understand she has no leg to stand on, but she's still confused and she's still persuaded this was the right thing to do.
I don't understand. After how many people told you this wasn't like your cousin, your mom, who Absolutely. We didn't really see you have a conversation with, your ex-husband, like Lois, right. Like how many people have told you? It's like, what, Cody? It's like, how many? It's like,
you're blowing up people's lives. You cannot predict the repercussions.
And then you finally hear it from Brooklyn, and it seems to actually sink in at that point.
Sort of, right? Because, and I think it went back and forth. And this is what I'm saying. Lulu wasn't arguing back in the defensive kind of thing. She's just genuinely confused. I think it's like, but the truth had to come out. Everybody had a right to know. I regret the way it came out. That was never my intention. It was never my plan. But yes, my plan was to make sure that everybody knew. And Lulu was asking Brooklyn, isn't it better now that you know who your son is? And every so often, Brooklyn would stop in her rant and she would pause and kind of think about it. And so I think she's slowly seeing Lulu's point. I don't think they'll ever be friends. But I also think Lulu was seeing a bit of Brooklyn's point. It's like, you have devastated this young man's world, is Brooklyn's point. It's bad enough you want to hurt me, but you devastated my son. It was his choice if he wanted to look for his parents. If he ever knew, which it turns out he didn't, so they never would have had a relationship.
Right? And that's the thing that and sorry guys, we're still in the recap, even though we're going kind of in the discussion. But that's the thing that really, I don't know how Lulu kept missing. It's like, they kept saying, it's like, if my son chooses to look for me, that is fine, but I'm not going to go look for him and uproot his life because he might not know he's adopted. And that point in and of itself just seemed to kept getting like
Lost.
in one ear, out the other, just buried under everything else. Because once Brooklyn finally said it for the like millionth time, it's like it seemed to Lulu like it finally clicked. It's like, oh shoot, I did just upend a boy's life and he didn't know he was adopted. Ooh.
Right, and I think Lulu finally clued in that Brooklyn really genuinely had no idea.
After she kept saying,
number one,
like,
that she had a son, and B, that he was right there. Right? Yeah, exactly. But Brooklyn, Lulu refused to believe her.
Because really,
in any case,
if Brooklyn knew, again, that is one thing. But it's like that is a conversation that Brooklyn would have said, like, yes, I'm very much aware who my son is and where he is. But he also doesn't know he's adopted, and I'm not uprooting his life because of that.
Absolutely.
So,
right.
Moving on.
So let's move along. So then we have the Corinthos. I don't remember what Willow's last name. Tate. Divorce custody proceeding. This was so exciting.
Oh my gosh.
I'm more and more delighted with the new actor playing Michael.
I need Monday.
Right. I mean, I think he was the change we didn't know we needed.
For real, because something happened, and I will talk about this as my comedy moment, but something happened in one of the episodes this week. I think it was either Thursday or Friday.
No sneak peeks. Go on.
But I will say this. Old Michael would not have been able to do that scene justice.
It's kind of like old Crazy Nina versus new Crazy Nina.
Let me just say.
No, hold it. Don't say it. Just hold it for yourself. Tease the people a little. So Rick, the custody hearing is set to begin. Rick calls Alexis because he looks at the witness list that Diane gave him and sees that Christina is on there. Christina had tried to kill Rick, and he's like, "You put that girl on the stand, and I will blow up her world." But Rick also doesn't want to blow up his money because he's blackmailing Alexis.
I would have just left it, honestly, because it's like either it's a double-edged sword, Rick. Either you blow up her spot and the truth comes out, and you blow up your money, or you just stick to the case. So I would have left it.
Given what happened later, we know Rick can't leave anything alone, right?
I still would have left it.
So,
I would have taken that money, transferred it back, and I would have left it.
In an epic case of witness tampering, he calls Alexis to come get Christina, and Alexis does exactly that. Diane is like, "Where's Christina?" Well, Christina left. What? Sort that out with Alexis later. So throughout the case, as each side is presenting their arguments, who cheated on who first, who was doing dirty, who took the kids and went where, who abandoned the kids and went for healing across the world, all this back and forth between the witnesses.
There's a whole set of mess, man, just happening through this.
Right? Michael and Willow keep looking at each other, kind of regretful, because I think they do still love each other. How could you oh, I got you now. There's just these looks being exchanged.
Right? People sassing other people with
it's just awesome.
Outbursts.
So, Diane ends up calling Jocelyn since she cannot call Christina. And Joss is on the stand, and Carly's a little bit worried because she knows, or the Jocelyn she knows is as hot-headed as Carly herself is. But Joss has recently been trained by the WSB, so Josh keeps it together really, really well on the stand and completely sandbags Willow to the point that Willow, who's normally very even-keeled, she jumps out in a spectacular outburst in court.
And Judgy has to be like, "Miss Tate, control yourself."
Which is so fantastic because Willow basically says, give him the full context, tell him what happened, which gives Josh the opportunity to sandbag Willow even further, which is just marvelous.
Yep.
They get Sasha on the stand. Now, Sasha is a witness for Willow. But Nina last week, we know Nina found out or figured out that Michael is very likely the child's father. And
she's like, the math is mathin'.
We had hoped 50, that Nina did not tell Rick. We weren't sure, but sure enough, she told Rick. She had an expectation that she did not communicate, and Rick basically ripped Sasha apart on the stand,
which
and
got
her to admit that Michael was in fact the father of her baby, not Michael. And even as not Jason. And even as Sasha's trying to do damage control, she fully goes into labor.
Yep, she tries to keep it in, but
she tries to cover up the labor pains, but was completely unsuccessful. So she gives birth in the courtroom. Willow helps deliver the baby, which is fantastic. But even as Willow is delivering the baby, because the paramedics got caught behind some kind of protest for Measure C or something like that, so they couldn't actually get into the courthouse.
Which honestly is like kind of stupid, because if you obstruct emergency services, you get fined. So I'm like, how
do you?
You do. If you
really?
Yes.
Where are you pulling this one from? Sorry, I'm gonna challenge you.
I'm gonna look it up while we go the recap, but I'm pretty sure if you prevent emergency services, so police officers, firefighters, or ambulances from getting to where they need to be to do what they need to do, you can be fined, because it's obstruction of, like, you can risk someone's life or get whatever.
I so I'm pretty sure you can be fined, but okay.
Pretty sure you can be fined for that.
So even as Willow is delivering the baby, Sasha and Michael are, exchanging words and what have you. And by exchanging words, I mean they're talking to each other, really. Oh, this is so beautiful. I don't even remember what all that they're saying. But they're putting information out there that Willow was not aware of. And Willow is definitely paying very close attention. I'm not sure what she's going to do with it. But in any case, so she delivers a girl. They named her Daisy. I know everybody was rooting for...
I was thinking Lila.
Or Monica, since we talked about Monica so much. In the hallway, Nina is laying into Rick, because it was never her intention, as I said, that Rick go after Sasha. It was like, just use the information and go get the bartender.
Right.
Carly overhears this. So Carly comes in and she starts reaming into Nina. And then an argument ensues, and Drew comes in, because Drew cannot mind his business under any circumstance. I don't remember what he said to provoke Carly, but Carly was like, oh, well, you can say what you like, but I happen to know for a fact that Nina is the one that paid for Jacinda, the hooker, to drug you. At which point it's kind of like, ooh, Drew, because I don't think Drew actually knew that. He knew about Portia.
No, he knew about Portia.
He did not know about Nina's involvement.
And you got Rick in the background, like, excuse me, what? And then which is interesting, because you also had a court bailiff off to the side. I was like,
I think they were talking about, you keep saying you want Willow and me apart, but it's not going to happen. And Carly's response was, I'm not the only one who wants you apart. Happened to know for a fact that Nina participated.
Right, basically, because Nina was ripping into Rick about the whole bartender thing.
Exactly.
And then Carly's like, this is your fault.
Right. So they go off to the hospital. The paramedics finally arrive. They go off to the hospital. Carly begrudgingly thanks Willow for assistance, but she didn't want to, but she did it sort of kind of graciously. And then Willow turns around and says, because I think Carly said, well, maybe now it's room for a compromise. And Willow says, well, now that we know that Michael cheated first, no. It's clear I'm going to get full custody.
Right, so timelines are messing with us here, which we'll go over.
Absolutely. And then Willow goes off, and she's talking to Drew on the phone at one point, and Drew's like, when are you coming home? And she says, well, Michael has told me that he's bringing the kids to see their new sister. I would like to stick around and try to get a glimpse. Drew says, okay, I'll see you later. Michael shows up with the kids. They go off to the nursery with Willow, because Wiley said, can mommy come? And Michael's like, yes, absolutely, she can come. So they're gathered around, looking like the perfect family, looking at the baby, smiling and cooing and laughing and giggling. And Drew, who apparently was going to see her at home, shows up any word, and he sees this lovely, idyllic picture, and he's not happy. What? Anyway, I'll leave that for later. I won't go into that. The other storyline we saw this week, again with Christina, after Alexis hustles her out of there, and Christina's like, Mom, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And Alexis is like, you need to be as far away from any court or legal proceeding as possible. How many times do I have to tell you to give your head a shake? Earlier in the week, Alexis had met with Christina and Lucky, got all the details of the accident, found out how Lucky knew about it. So Alexis is formulating whatever plan she's formulating. Shock of shocks, Liz, Lucky goes home and tells Liz the whole story, exactly what he knows, who did it, what have you. Liz is ready to go to the police, and she's mad. She's like, well, how you haven't told the police this already? And he's like, what's the point? Really and truly, like, the ripple effects and so on, and nobody died. And Liz is like, well, I guess at this point I might as well leave it alone, because you'll be charged as an accessory, and I can't do that to Aiden and even myself. So I really don't know what was the point of sharing that piece of information. But anyway, Laura has discovered the missing money. and goes to ask Alexis about it. And Alexis says, oh, yeah, I was just diversifying the investment. It turns out it's $10 million. Like, oh, my mercy. Whatever.
Yeah, we were watching that and we're like, okay, you've noticed money missing. Like, okay. Like what you've noticed, like
200,000,
right?
$10 million.
She said 10, and I said, okay, $10,000, not so bad. And then added the million. I said,
what? So Laura seems to be okay with the explanation, but she says, listen, I would just like to be closer informed as you're making these moves.
Right. Though here's the clincher that I don't think you added. It's only been a month and a half and $10 million.
Right.
It's been, Alexis is making $10 million in a month and a half.
I mean.
That's what made it worse. It's a month and a half and $10 million.
And when you think about what the Cassadine estate should probably be, like the ridiculous millions of dollars, for her to notice 10 million?
If it's 10 million, I don't think that they're definitely billionaires or something.
Whew.
Like multi-millionaires for sure, but
I was glad to know that somebody was paying attention, so well done to the writers on that.
Amen.
Marco happened to be involved because Suzanne, I don't know how exactly, but Suzanne went to print off the reports for this Dolos thing. Marco caught a whiff of it, and he was looking at it, and he goes to see Alexis and says, this looks a little shady. This looks like money laundering. I don't know, like, how much you know about this company? And Alexis is like, no, I vetted it. It's fine. It's good. And Marcos is like, or Marco, I should stop adding an S. He says to her, well, if ever you should need any kind of help in this area, because this is one of my areas of expertise, let me know. So Alexis, there's a little bit of pressure on you because people are noticing, which I think you kind of expected anyways, right? Mm. And Marco meets Christina. I don't know that there's any relevance to that. Later on, just to talk about Marco, since we're talking about him, he's at the Metro Court pool with Lucas. His mother shows up, and they have another argument about how she doesn't accept him as a homosexual man. And
that's interesting. I didn't think we were going to go there. Seeing as how I'm like, it wasn't really written.
It wasn't really written, but I'm just going to throw it in because Natalia ends up getting drunk, although she seemed bent on getting drunk even before she spoke to Marco.
I feel like
it was oddly portrayed.
It was weird because it was like she showed up at the hotel pool, got her vodka soda, went over to Marco, and like...
Well, because she wanted to get in touch with Ali, and that's how the fight started.
But what's interesting is like when she asked for the vodka soda, she seemed completely sober. So how much did you drink before you went up? Or how fast did you drink this thing? Or how many? Because it's like she was very clearly borderline tipsy, if not tipsy, when she was speaking to Marco. And then when she sat down with Sonny, she really was basically just out of it.
Yeah.
And then...
We can get into that a little more later.
Not really, I don't.
Okay. But in any case, after speaking with Sonny and she's upset, she leaves and goes drunk driving and gets arrested.
Yeah, she was going to go see
should.
She was going to go see Sidwell to talk about Marco.
Regardless where she was going, she gets arrested. Good for her tail.
Amen. But she keeps saying, "Oh, it's because I know Sonny Corinthos and all of this and all." It's like,
I thought we weren't getting into it. Sorry, I'm just poking at you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So she's basically like, "This is harassment," and then simply enough, Molly shows up and she's like, "I can't prosecute you, so whoever's going to prosecute you, no." And Natalia's like, "Why?" She's like, and Molly's like, "Because your lawyer would think this is, I'm being biased and whatnot." And Natalia's like, "I don't even know you." It's like, "No, but you do know my sister, since you're the homophobe who just talked dirty about my sister." And Natalia's like, "Oh." I'm like, she must have been so drunk, because when Molly came in, she said, "Hi, I'm Molly Lansing Davis." And Mom thinks Christina just goes by Christina Corinthos, but I'm pretty sure she goes by Christina Corinthos Davis.
Either way. I mean, she's new in town. She don't know the relations, which is perfectly logical and sensible to me. So that's fine. Then Marco goes to see his father and finds out exactly what his father's plans are with respect to the pier. And he says that's a bad idea, because if the people vote to take the pier away, it doesn't matter if you're Sonny or Sidwell, you're going to lose the pier. And the father is convinced that no, once Sonny's out of the picture, that becomes a non-issue. I personally don't think so, but whatever. It's a soap opera. It'll spin the way it'll spin. With respect to Dalton, Dalton meets Sidwell and Jordan at the Metro Court pool. It turns out that Sidwell and Dalton are partners. Sidwell is funding the research. Joss had gotten wind of this because she's his assistant, saw the calendar, so she also shows up at the pool and manages to finagle an invite into the meeting, learns a little bit more about what it is that Dalton is doing. Then they all get summoned, both she and Vaughn, who's also at the pool peeping at people. They all get summoned back to the WSB office where Jack fills them in because Anna called him for help. And he basically told Anna that she's just being an overprotective grandmother. So he lets them know that Anna is on to Dalton and they need to kind of step up their game. Cool, fine, no problem. And Dalton, in the meantime, because Emma, as we know, is furious that Joss got the job because Emma wants to take Dalton down. Mm-hmm. She figures out another way to get Dalton's attention because it seems he's pervy. And she's wearing the skimpiest of swimsuits and she uses
okay, it's not that skimpy. It's not that skimpy. Honestly, aside from her top, I'm like, the bottoms I'm okay with because I'm like, I've seen skimpier bathing suits on that show.
Well, okay.
So it's not that skimpy.
That's fine. That's fair. But she uses all her feminine wiles to attract Dalton's attention. It appears to be working.
I did like though how she's having a conversation with Gio and she says, "Is he still looking?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Thought so." And proceeds to like take off her wrap.
And yeah, just bare her backside in her bikini bottom.
The man might as well have had a drink in his mouth and just let it dribble out. Like
it might as well have. Like
he wasn't subtle.
No, he wasn't. I didn't think she was either.
Still, I'm like, sir, how old are you? Like 40? The girl is in her early 20s. What are you doing?
Indeed.
Jail.
So that all happens, and then Anna is very put off because Brennan would not help her with the case, which tells her that the WSB is very much investigating Dalton as well. And so she enlists Jason's help. There's a shocker. Because, as she puts it, well, this is bad news, and Joss is involved in, what with Joss being Carly's daughter, you need to protect her. It's not just about Emma. And Jason, of course, says, I'm in. Because nobody knows Joss is in the WSB. So, that is about all the news that's fit to print on what happened this week.
Yes.
For some reason, I'm feeling to mention that Tracy was also at the trial, but I'm not sure what the relevance is. It may come up in
she was at the trial, but that was...
So, just know that she was there. It may come up in our further discussion. So, anything you want to talk about other than the custody?
Just briefly, before we go into it, I did look it up and I did find the answer. So, where we live, this being Canada. It'll differ from province to province, but overall... you can be fined for obstructing emergency services. So it says here, contravention of EMRs or a lawful order by a peace officer made thereunder may be prosecuted as a summary conviction or indictable offense. Indictable. Well, there's a C, that's why.
I know.
I hate silent letters sometimes. On summary conviction, a fine not exceeding $500 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months, or both, or indictment, a fine not exceeding $5,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years, or both.
Okay, so the fine comes after you're convicted.
Either way,
but
you can be fined for obstructing emergency services.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know why. So again, this was for Canada, not the States, but I do believe it's the same thing in the States.
All right. So either way, don't do it.
Yeah, simply just let EMTs, police officers, and especially firefighters through when they got a job to do.
Yep. Okay. So other than the custody, anything you want to talk about? Because I think most of our comments have to do with the custody battle.
Wow. Okay, so in that case, we're going to go back to adoption. Because honestly, in terms of the Dalton story, I don't care. The man is just sick and creepy. So
that's our summer teen storyline. Yep.
So we're just kidding. That's rocks. There was a whole Trina, Curtis, and Portia storyline. I don't really care about it. I'm just going to say Curtis said some things about finding Jacinda and paying her off to say Drew did do what he did. And Kai heard Curtis say this, so I think that's going to cause problems for Kai, Trina, and her family, and Drew later on.
Yeah, Kai will probably go back and tell Drew.
Right, so kicking that to the curb, because again, I don't really care about that. But what I will go to is, yes, so the adoption, as I was saying.
Oh, actually, since we were just talking about Curtis, before we go into anything else, I'm excited because we can close out one of our drop storylines or things we were following. We don't know where TJ is, but he did get a mention. Yeah. And apparently he's working at the hospital. Haven't seen him anywhere, but he did get a mention, so we can close that out. He's still in Port Charles.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Right. Which is also interesting because Marshall showed back up for a day or two. No, it really was a day since this entire week has been taking place on June 2nd. But yeah. Okay. So who knows? TJ might pop back up, and honestly, I don't care. If he does, recast him, please. I don't like this TJ. But yes, back to the adoption. Good on Gio. I'm surprised Gio went to go see Sunny first, but I'm glad he did because I think that was one of the more important questions that Gio wanted an answer for was if Sunny knew, and if he did, like how long did he know, why he didn't say anything. So I appreciate that was the first place he went to and got his answer. I did like that Sunny gave him the advice because it's like, weren't you mad at Olivia for not telling you all these years? And it's like, or do you hate her? It's like, I didn't hate her. I was mad, yeah, for sure. But I didn't hate her and all this stuff. And I like how Sunny also explained to the fact that at the time, it's like, no one knew that Sunny was Dante's father.
Yes.
So it's not like Lois could have told Sunny when Gio was born. It's not like, so, you know, there was no way of him knowing at any point in time. So I just like how that was explained. Yeah. I like how Sunny's like, you know, it'll take time for you to get into a place where you're okay with everything, but that place you'll find that place, and you may forgive Brooklyn, you may not, you may forgive Lois, you may not, but in the end, it's like you will find your
peace lane.
Yeah, I guess it's like you'll find that space that you're just comfortable in for your relationships and whatnot. And then as well, I do like that they again have that conversation about Dante. It's like, I don't want that relationship with him. He told me how he felt about me before he even knew I was his son. Mm-hmm. So why should that, and I think especially, if your feelings or opinions of someone changes because of something that relates to them, but also you, it's not real. It's like,
no, agreed.
It's superficial. It's not.
We can't stand each other, and just because we find out suddenly we've got blood ties, right. Everything's good.
No, that's not water under the bridge.
It really isn't.
So, I appreciate Gio standing on his word that he's like, Dante expressed how he felt about me, and just because we're now father and son, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever will. I do hope because there was a point where he was later working because he was at the Metrocourt pool as a lifeguard, and he did see Sunny, and he kind of got a little, not antsy, but he felt a ways because and immediately goes up and was like, are you following me? Are you keeping an eye on me? And he's like, and I like how Laura's like, no, I called him that. And he's like, okay, I just, but he immediately understood. It's like, I'm not following you. I'm giving you the space you want. It's like, I'm like, you live in the same town. You're going to run into each other. Like, just because.
Absolutely. But I do like he wasn't framed to go up to Sunny. Okay, clearly he's speaking with somebody. You just rudely interrupt the conversation. Right. But you're man enough to rudely interrupt the conversation,
right. I do also, I found it interesting because I'm like, Laura, just the way she went about it in terms of another member of the family, yay, but it's like, you're not related to this kid.
No, but I don't know that she was necessarily talking about herself.
No, but it's like extended family, and it's like,
I mean, it's her grandson's brother, so still. I can kind of see that.
Even still, it's like,
but yeah.
But I do like how she's like, Laura does say to Gio, it's like, Rocco is looking forward to actually getting to know you and stuff like that. And I'm like, I believe that is the case.
I believe so too.
Even though we didn't see that conversation happen, I do believe that. But Gio is still kind of hesitant, and I'm like, I'm just like, when it comes to certain people in his now family, it's like, don't be hesitant to have a relationship with them, because it's like, you already know who they are. It's like, aside from the whole Brooklyn, Lois, and putting all of them aside, so his immediate family, so Ned and Olivia and all of them, when it comes to the kids, so Danny, Rocco, Scout, all of that, it's like Wiley and Amelia, it's like, they're your family, they're kids, they obviously had no clue, but you know them, you know how they are, it's like, you shouldn't be hesitant to have a relationship with them just because of this whole mess. It's like, yes, Rocco is your brother, but before you knew he was your brother, you guys were friends. You still think Rocco is a good kid. You would still look out for Rocco. And that...
I think so. Danny's your cousin. Scout is your cousin.
Right. Wiley and Amelia are your cousins. You got Daisy now. So it's like, you can't fault the kids in this. You really can't. And I think the kids should be the ones who, like, if you don't want to have a relationship with parents and the adults, that's on you.
And it would be, right? Because we already saw that with Scout, Danny, and Rocco. They were like, they can do them. That's their business. We came up as brothers and sisters.
Right.
Regardless of who is where.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, the kids, don't put any blame or any, it's like, you're a father, son. Like, don't put the sins of the father upon the son. So really, it's like, have your own relationship with your brother. Have your own relationship with your cousins. Don't mind the rest of the idiot adults in the family.
And you know what I would really like to see?
I do want to see him cuss at Lulu.
Sure. But what I would like to see, since you're talking about the kids, I would love to see a scene where the kids, so maybe, I mean, I don't know that we'll see Scout, but Danny, Rocco, Gio, or even at least Danny and Rocco, sit down all the Quartermains and the Falcon and the Falconaries, and they're just like, y'all need to stop your mess.
I would love that, but I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think it'll happen, but it would be nice to see that. And it's like, this is the trauma we have been through this year. Mm-hmm. This is a new trauma for Gio. Y'all need to figure it out and stop playing the tail.
I wish the children had such adult brain thoughts like that.
Well, Danny and Rocco seem to, so... I don't expect it's going to happen, but anyway.
One thing I would like to see is, and I don't know if this will happen or if it'll go well, but I would like to see just Chase and Gio have a sit down.
Oh, that would be cool.
That
would be cool.
Because, like, and I know Chase being Chase, like, while he would come to Brooklyn's defense, he would also still be, like, very much like, look, I understand your... Like, the same way he was there for Willow and tried to talk Willow through everything.
Sure, and even in court, tried to, not really pick a side.
I think he would do the same thing for Gio and help give Gio a little bit more advice. And it would be like, look, you can decide what you want to do. I'm not going to influence you to do one thing. I'm not going to influence you to do another. It's like, yes, Brooklyn is my wife and I love her and I will always defend her, but I also respect her choices and, but I also respect your choices. And I want you to make the choices that you feel comfortable doing and just, I would like to, give my little side, my own little advice, but kind of thing. Anyway, overall, I just want Chase and Gio to have a whole conversation.
Yeah, because he could be an amazing father to Gio if he doesn't want if
he doesn't want Dante, have Chase.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was going to say.
And technically, he is your stepdad, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
No, it's not even that.
That is the connection.
It's not even that. It's whenever I come with some kind of connection, you always have to pause and think and be like, yeah. Like, and then you have to be like, no, she's right, no. I do want to see that confrontation with Maxie and Lulu because it was on the phone, but it just didn't.
I don't think you're going to get that.
Well, not a confrontation, but I would like to see discussion.
I don't think you're going to get it.
The phone wasn't enough.
I know. I hear you. Okay, let's talk about the custody hearing.
All right.
Because it's what had me hot, and all the what had me hot was around the custody line. So I know we had an issue. Okay, so what had me hot? We had a lot of what had me hot around the custody hearing.
We did.
Particularly the timelines.
Yeah.
But I think we have it sorted, although we didn't really have any concrete way to go back and check it out. But here's the thing. So we established in the episode that Michael.
Yes.
See, since you insist on me calling him Michael, I'm struggling because for me he's MC3.
Stop.
Michael and Sasha slept together on the 30th.
Yes.
They are saying that this was before Drew and Willow slept together. I don't believe that to be true.
We know that's not true.
Because the way I remember it is Michael had already seen the video footage.
Yes.
And that was why he went to the bar to get hammered.
Yes. That is exactly what happened. And this is not no Mandela effect. This is not no we transport into universes. Because, see, we were also confused because and this falls into Make It Make Sense, which also falls into the What Had Me Hot, which we have the timeline.
Yeah, this all.
So we were really confused because, and I caught this, because when Sasha was on the stand, Rick was asking her questions about when the video came out, and she's like, oh, it came out during the Quartermain Christmas party.
But she wasn't the only one, because Carly had said it
first in the previous episode.
Nina said it as well. She reinforced it.
Right.
And we were all like, the Christmas party?
Because they're all like, you slept together on October 30th. So we're like, why are you having a Christmas party in October?
Right.
When they slept together?
And then when we sorted it out, it's like, yes, Michael knew at Halloween.
Yes.
But the video was played, and I still don't think it was Christmas. I thought it was Thanksgiving at the latest. But you know what? It could be
either
Christmas,
way, it was a holiday party.
It was in fact a holiday party. And if they're saying it's Christmas, I'm willing to accept that it was Christmas, that he knew for those. So that would be basically all of November and most of December.
Right. But the thing that doesn't...
Because he did know for a while before the video got released.
Right. The thing that bugs me, though, and that doesn't really make sense is I thought that Willow and Drew slept together on the 31st because it was the day that Sam died, but it would have been like the news, like everyone would have found out she died that day, and Scout would have been upset and everything, and then Drew would have put her to bed and everything and had the nightmare, and then went to go deal with whatever in the nursery, and that's when Willow and Drew slept together. And I'm like, how y'all sleeping together when Scout's in the next room right there? So,
but we did establish Scout would have been in the next room, but Sam was already in hospital because she'd given her liver.
Right.
So the kids were not staying at the house. Right,
which makes sense. But for some reason, I thought she was upset Scout was upset and had the nightmare because her mom had already died, and then Drew was putting her to bed because, again, you know, she's waking up, her mom wasn't there, which is why I thought it happened on the 31st, and that's when they slept together. So everyone's saying they slept together on the 30th.
And you think this all happened on the 31st, not the 30th.
You're right.
Could be right as well. You could be right. Because we do know that the kids had been trick-or-treating.
Right.
And there's no reason to go trick-or-treating on the 30th. Nobody does that.
Right.
So we know they went trick-or-treating the 31st. And you could be right. You could be right that it happened the 31st and not the 30th. But that's kind of like a niggle, right? It's
just, you know, the timeline of what happened, it didn't make sense. But either way, the point is like we, the viewers, are well aware that Will and Drew slept together before Sasha and Michael did. Yeah. And for me, it's just like, how do you, like, please tell me that this video, and I'm surprised it didn't come up, like, when they... Right. Because I'm like, if you have because I would also suspect that, especially with nanny cams, if you think something's wrong and you need to do whatever, you would have a date and time stamp on the nanny cam footage. Because I know sometimes it might not, but when it saves it in the details, it'll have it, so maybe that's where it is. Yeah. But I'm like... I just need the original video and people to go through the details.
You just need that proper timeline to come out.
And I need and I need Diane to just...
Well, see, that's the part where I was confused, right? Because Michael's sitting at the table. He knows what provoked him to sleep with Sasha.
Right.
And then Diane got up and cross-examined, and she said, let's just establish a timeline. And what she talked about was the 2 kisses and how those had happened before the 30th.
Right.
And I'm very surprised that Michael did not indicate to her in some form or fashion, hold the phone. The reason we slept together was because, or one of the contributing factors is that...
Maybe that'll come up sometime this week. Who knows?
Maybe.
Because after Sasha went into labor, or while she was in labor, the judge had called a recess. So everyone is saying, it's like, now that the judge knows ABC, it's like, I'm going to get full custody, whatever. And I'm like, the trial's not done.
The trial isn't done.
Rick didn't say, I rest my case, and yada, yada. Y'all are in recess until whatever.
They are in recess. You're absolutely right.
So the judge can, like, what we have so far, I can go over, I can
absolutely, she can
ruminate.
But my problem is that Rick established that, and Diane had her chance to examine, and then Rick came back to redirect, which means Diane was finished. So why Diane didn't have that introduced when it was her turn to speak to Sasha, I don't understand. She can't come back now.
I'm pretty sure she can.
I don't think she can come back after the redirect. That's the whole point of redirecting, because she's finished. She had her chance.
No, but I'm pretty
unless she calls Michael as a rebuttal witness. That she
which
can do.
I hope she does. But yeah. I feel, and I could be wrong, I will have to consult the lawyer of the family, but I feel that it's like, you call your witness, Then if you're done, you let the opposing counsel cross-examine.
Yes.
If they're like they have no more questions, then you can come back for re-examination.
Redirect. Yeah. To address
right?
something that may be prejudicial. Yeah.
Right. And if and then possibly the judge might ask if you have any other questions. If not,
I don't think that happens.
I feel like if you can ask a set of questions, or your opposing counsel can ask a question after you've done your redirect, and then you might have another question that might, because they might have said something, and you can be like, Your Honor, may I, whatever, possibly. Because it's like, that's why I'm like, I feel like if you need to, you can ask the judge to come back and ask another question. But again, that is a question for the lawyer.
You can recall them for sure at a later time, but I don't think you have the opportunity to ask some questions there. But you know what? Now we're talking about law as opposed to the soap opera.
That's why I'm like, that's a question for the lawyer.
Yeah.
Which, again, as you had mentioned earlier, Rick had done the witness tampering with Christina because that had happened when he called Alexis, and I had been sitting there, and I was like, is this witness tampering? Because they had a witness on the witness list, and then he just told someone, an outside party, to come get her so she wouldn't testify. And I'm pretty sure that's witness tampering, which I did get confirmation from the lawyer of the family. It is witness tampering. Anything you do to prevent a witness from testifying is witness tampering.
Right.
So, yeah. Anything else?
Yes, I've pulled it up. And my lovely AI says, after a redirect examination, the lawyer who conducted the cross-examination can request to conduct a recross, but only with the judge's permission.
Right. So that's my point. It's like you.
And it goes into more detail, but you get the idea.
Yeah. So my point is, yes, I'm technically right. If Diane wished to, if Rick hadn't sent Sasha into labor, she could have asked the judge permission to ask Sasha another question, but we did not get that opportunity because Rick sent her into labor.
So there we go. Okay.
So we've gone over what had me hot.
Yes.
And what do you do that for?
None that I can think of at the moment. Yes, actually, it's Anna calling Jason. Anna calling Jason again for her investigation. Like, seriously, Anna, this is getting tired. I just can't.
Okay.
That's about all I have to say on that.
All right.
There's probably another one, but
okay. We've gone over Make It Make Sense. Did you want to do a Delulu of the Week?
I don't really have one.
All right, then we skip Delulu of the Week. Did you want to do comedy, villain, hero, or Make It Sassy?
Oh, let's do comedy because there's so much in there.
Okay, so I have technically 3.
Yeah, but that last one is mine.
No, I know that last one is yours.
Okay.
So the first one is when Sasha was on the stand, and you could see she was like in pain. She was moaning, groaning, hissing, and stuff like that. And then there was a point where she let out an audible, deep grunt of pain, and Rick was like, "Oh, come on, Miss Corbin, enough with the theatrics." And it's like, okay, I get, like,
imbecile.
Like, I get in this situation as, like, she's kind of been, like, you know, little standoffish and could use her pregnancy, but it's like, if you know Sasha, she's not gonna fake something like this, especially especially after what happened with Liam. So anyway, so Sasha gets a real pain, and Rick ends up getting real irate with Sasha, which is, like, so out of pocket. And Michael, being the protective father that he is, basically stands up, slams his hand on the table, and shouts at Rick to stop being so harsh on Sasha. But when he slammed his hand on the table and started yelling, Diane whipped her head at Michael and was kind of taken aback in, like, fear and startled look. I couldn't, because it was just like, oh, Diane, you just get all of the fears and the shakes and everything. Oh, this poor woman.
Did you think it was scripted? Or like
yes and no.
Maybe she knew it was going to happen. She just wasn't ready. Or
I feel that was scripted. I don't feel the intensity of which it was. I don't think she was ready for that.
Yeah.
And then my second one. So again, still ties in with Sasha. So she's on the stand and she's like in real pain though. And they do like a real close up on her face, and she's trying to like breathe through the pain, but her lip trembles in a way that I'm like, what kind of device do you have attached to this woman? Because that lip tremble, I'm like, Sasha's an amazing actress, but that lip tremble was a real like, oh my god, I cannot take this. I feel like I am dying lip tremble. So,
and you know what? Maybe she really is that good of an actress because she has had a baby. And once you had the baby, I don't care what anybody tells you. You have a contraction, you know, and you remember what that pain is like. You may ignore it and have another child. You didn't forget. The child was really worth it.
I just feel like they got one of those period cramp simulators, but they messed with it so it could go higher than the factory settings to real ass of pain. Because again, that lip tremble. Oh my god.
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay. My comedy. Sorry.
I had my last one. My last one was just Cody and Molly at the Metro Court pool, just chilling out and just them having a good time. But Cody just being such jokes, man. I can't remember specifically what the jokes were, but he's like, "Oh, stop being such a workaholic and come sit with me by the pool and yada yada yada."
Yeah, I didn't find anything entertaining in that other than Molly, who was so I can't leave my papers in the car, was very happy to leave them on a beach chair. Never mind that the pool was closed. She was so far away from them with her feet in the pool. But that being said, since we're talking about the pool, that's where my comedy moment occurs.
Yep. As
Laura and Sunny are speaking, they're having a conversation, and no sooner than I turn to you and I say, this is a perfect opportunity. No, I think I just said enter Boyle with his sarcasm or something like that.
Something to the effect.
But anyway, I was expecting Boyle to show up and didn't disappoint. Here he comes.
Not 2 seconds later.
With the camera, filming them, doing all his smarmy business. And then Gio, having already spoken with Sunny and kind of made peace again, Gio comes by with some towels and knocks Boyle into the pool. It's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't see you there." And then Laura turning around going, "I really like your grandson." It was just fantastic.
It was.
Way to go. That was brilliant.
It was.
I think they throw in these giggle moments at really good times. Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to go with your hero of the week? Because I feel like we might discuss the villain for a minute.
I quickly want to go to Make It Sassy, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
I give it to Joss because she was on that stand and Tracy gets it too, a little bit, but and Tracy was there and just being Tracy. But definitely to Joss because Joss was like, she was looking at Rick as like, I don't know, even though Willow was my sister-in-law, we weren't that close. So she never really expressed to me what her motives or whatever. And it's like, well, and Rick was asking her some other question. It's like, we did have some words in the Metro Court in the ladies' room during the nurses' ball, and she did tell me, nothing mattered as much as being with Drew. And then that's when Willow stood up and had her outburst, and then she's like, "Oh, but there was something else." Then Drew busted in and he threatened me, saying he would do everything in his power to make sure Willow had her kids. And it was just like, but just the sass. Mm-hmm. And then just Carly in the background. That's my girl.
It's like you worried for nothing, Carly.
You did.
Yep. Oh, and you know what? Actually make it sassy? Diane flashing those pictures of Drew with the hooker at the bar.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, Diane. And, okay, it kind of goes with sassy, but I was just like, okay, that's too much. Was her also playing the video of them in the nursery.
Yeah.
I understand you need to make your point. I thought that was overmuch. But whatevs.
I agree. Okay, so yes, going to hero and villain of the week. My hero is little baby Daisy. Mm-hmm. Because it's a baby. How can a baby not be a hero? Like, it's a baby.
Okay.
She was adorable. I did think there were moments that I looked at this baby and I'm like, this baby is very quiet. Like, she's not moving. One eye just like so close. She like, I'm ready to sleep. She was this baby, and it wasn't until she was in the nursery at the hospital where she was moving and wiggling. This baby was just so like when she was with Sasha, she was just like, I'm chilling. I'm so chilling. She was so unbothered. And yeah, so just everyone coming to see Daisy and just, being happy. I will give it to Willow for, putting all of her feelings aside in this.
That was mine. It's okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So just Willow putting all of her newly found feelings for these newly found discoveries aside and actually helping Sasha give birth. And I think because she knows because she knows about Sasha and her backstory with Liam and all that, she was really like, okay, no, like, I want to make sure she actually has a healthy baby. She's not worried or anything, because it's like, as a mother myself, it's like, that's something.
Yeah, and I think Willow had tried to make peace of it.
Multiple times.
Sasha's last appointment, and it just didn't go well.
She did, and especially because she's like, well, our kids are going to be cousins.
Yeah.
Now you know they're siblings.
Right.
But she did try to make peace.
And I think that right there, that scene is who Willow truly is. That represents her when she's caring for the patients, when she was a teacher. I think that is the true Willow. And then there's all this other garbage going on around her, exactly as they had said in the courtroom, as we were talking about last week, I think. Or maybe it was all, no, because it was all this week.
It was this week.
Where Michael had said...
And I was thinking, just now.
Yeah, it's like when she was in the dawn of day, she had Shiloh telling her what to do, how to think, not to question.
I do like how they brought that up, because we were wondering if
absolutely.
They would.
And what he said, actually, let's throw that in now because I neglected it in the recap. But one of the things that Michael said, and so I'll put him in the hero for this reason, is, to me, he made it clear that Willow has, I'm going to call it a psychological disturbance because of how she was influenced by the cult. And what he went on to say was, when she gets the help she needs...
Unless and until.
Right, but basically when, because Willow would be a fool not to go and get it when now it's been called out so blatantly. When she gets the help she needs to deal with that having been controlled, she'll be a brilliant mother. I'm happy to partner with her to raise the children. But not before then.
No, it's like until she gets the help she needs, I don't think she's a safe place for our children.
Yep, and even Nina was like, shoot, I never thought of that. And I think it's a valid point.
I really hope the judge actually heard that and made a note of it when she was sitting there. And even if the
judge didn't hear it, I hope Willow heard it. Because really and truly, I think that's it. I think we see the core of who Willow is, but when there's all these male influences, then she gets a little lost.
Right, because he even said it's like she was there, and after she left, she never got the help that she never saw anyone to deal with that. Because really, even I'm like, you're in a cult. You were manipulated and gaslit and all this stuff. How you don't, like, I get probably because of that, it's like professional help. It's like, professional help, don't do it, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, you are a mother and you're like, and it's like, you need to take care of yourself in order to take care of your children and those around you. And you can't do that if you haven't sought help for the trauma that you went through.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that she actually heard that, sits with that, and actually takes that into account and is like, but no, Michael is right. It's like, I never actually did seek help. I thought I was fine, but there's a pattern. It's like I got out of dawn of day. I was with Chase. I cheated on Chase with Michael. Then I married Michael. And then I cheated on Michael with him, and all this other stuff is now compounding.
But the cheating is one thing, but it's very specific. Like, that aside, it's the controlling. Oh, this man says this, and it's very specific to men as well. This man said this. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Go do it. Mm-hmm. This other man said this, or this other man I'm in a relationship with, he said this. Let me go do that. Never mind that I was thinking something else. Yeah. It makes good sense. And she changes her mind. It doesn't happen with women.
No.
Right? Carly was telling her whatever. Nina was telling her whatever. Sasha's telling her whatever. Tracy's telling her whatever. And she was like, back up and just mind your business. The man will come and tell her the exact same thing. Oh, that's a great idea.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like, I really hope it's like someone calls us out. It's like when Willow is not, like when Willow is by herself and, you know, she takes the time to think about it by herself, it's like she actually makes the choices that actually make sense and are for the good of her children.
Absolutely.
But then the second, and unfortunately it's Drew. Because
in this case it's Drew, yes.
But the second Drew shows up, she starts... She switches to like this whole other personality and starts being the villain
because she has to conform,
right? And it's like, no, you are your own person. You have your own brain.
Absolutely,
it's like you have your own thoughts and feelings on this subject. Don't let someone else manipulate you into thinking otherwise. Because it's like, how many times has not Sasha, but Carly and Nina talked to you? Even Sunny, because Sunny is, you know, and like. Come in and to talk to you, and you're like,
but even with Sunny though,
with Sunny, it's not as strong. He's just like, I think this is what you should do, but you know, it just for the good of the children, and you know, but you are their mother, you will make the choice. And but mostly
Right.
but
what I
mostly
was gonna say-
what Carly and Nina are telling her, she actually stops and thinks, and actually's like, you know, like actually taking a second and compromising. Even Jason suggested she go talk to Michael in Baden-Baden.
And look how fast she got on the plane.
Right. And
that was the one time Drew did not really have an opportunity to jump in.
Even though he tried.
Yes, even though he tried. But this is the thing. But that might be who's more powerful, Jason or Drew. Right? Because even to your point, with Sunny comes in more subtle. But she was totally ready to listen to him immediately and make and react or adjust and have a conversation until Nina came in with her bruised face. But she was more ready to listen to Sunny than she'd been to listen to Carly, who said the same thing, or Nina, who said the same thing.
Fair enough.
It's very distinct. A man says it, ooh, she's all ready to listen. So there's that.
But yeah, but so far it's just.
So hopefully she hears that.
Madam Judge.
Even though she flipped at the end, talking about, you know, for sure I'm going to win custody now that we learned this.
It's like someone coming.
Hopefully
with the
she heard that and registered somewhere.
I'm like somebody coming with the timestamps, please. In that regard, still going on Hero. I will give it to Jason because he's now the baby's godfather.
That's not that okay.
Well, he didn't have to do anything.
No, you're right. That's who you like for Hero. That is your choice. I'm leaving it alone.
Good.
Villain.
Rick. Forget it for just ripping into Sasha with like, okay, first off, she's not Christina, so calme-toi, s'il vous plaît. So, yeah, just you put a woman to labor, shame on you. And then Nina for letting me down, because I'm like, I do appreciate that you went and apologized to Sasha, like you just told her straight out, which is also very conflicting for the fact is like you can tell Sasha the truth, but you can't tell your own daughter. Granted, though, it's like the loss of my child or the loss of a friend, kind of. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do appreciate that. She after she was in the hospital and everything, she's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't expect Rick to do all this." And it's like, I told Rick, I figured it out, and I told him I didn't expect him to do all of that. I just thought him to, you know, call another witness. But you know, in the end, it doesn't appear that Sasha is going to hold it against her, and it's really just like Willow has lost her ever-loving mind.
Oh, agreed. I thought Willow would overhear that. But yeah, I'm with you. The same two people. Although, in fairness to Rick, he was just doing his job. That is what they were paying him to do.
Right, but he didn't have to go that hard to send a woman into labor.
Okay, well, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Yes, she went into labor. Would it have happened regardless? I think of the stress of the trial and whatever. But again, but Rick was doing his job. She's not Christina. She's not Christina, but
I do think the intensity he went at her was like similar to the intensity he did when Christina was on for the death of Irene and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's Rick. That is Rick.
I'm like, you have
Nina. Also same reason why she told Rick. Oh, Nina, that hurts. Breaks my heart. Drew for all the obvious reasons. Lulu again because everything Lulu. But no, I don't have any real like villainous people this week. So
no,
you know, Sidwell, Natalia.
I'm just surprised she showed up again because we hadn't seen her from time.
I thought she was gone. Like I don't know what possible. You know, like, is it more because of the summer storyline? Is Allie coming back? I don't know, but whatever. So that's all I have really.
Same.
All right.
I was gonna bring my piece in about Michael slamming the table, even though I brought it up. But I was like, whew, Michael.
All right. Anything happened this week that we want to add to our follow-ups?
Or
you want me to recap the follow-ups we have?
No, not really.
All right. Although one thing that did come up this week, you know, maybe I'll throw the ADA in as a villain because she lost her mind. But seriously, because she did mention it, was Jason's arrest. Jason was arrested for Cyrus's murder. Where is that case going? Is that done?
I guess so. They don't have enough evidence.
So, you know, which ties into Joss keeping the secret. But there's other things that we're following up on. Anyways, yeah. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up for this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so come on back next week for a lot more soaps.
A hell of a lot of sass.
Have a great week, y'all.
Toodles.
Bye.